number 3. So today's yoga we're going to start lying down. So just like we started our Pilates 3 all lying down, so we're going to start our yoga that way. So if you'd like to find some space where you can lay down, there's plenty of room for you, and roll all the way down onto your back. So for the moment, bring the legs together, and you're actually active through the legs. So the feet aren't falling out to the sides. It's not quite Shavasana. We're not there yet. So your feet are together, the legs together, toes point towards the ceiling. So you want a little bit of activity in the legs so they're switched on, but they're not tense. So just some awareness. The body is long, the arms rest by the sides, turn the palms to the sky. Just shift the shoulders away from the ears and let the body, upper body, kind of relax into the mat for a moment. So from here, actually before we go anywhere else, bring the hands onto the belly so that the fingertips touch. So you literally just, the fingertips touch in the middle of the belly and the hands rest. And as you inhale, feel the belly rise, so much so that those hands will separate away from each other, so the fingertips will move away from each other. And as you exhale, they'll come back together as the belly sinks. Inhale, expand into the belly, and exhale, let the belly sink. So just stopping the rest of the day, tuning into the breath. Inhale and exhale. Then bringing the hands onto the bottom of the rib cage. And again, so from here, keep the fingertips together. Inhale. Feel those ribs expand to the side, and you'll actually feel the hands move away from each other. As you exhale, release, let it come back in. Inhale. Expand into the ribs, still expanding the belly. And exhale to relax and release. Inhale, belly and ribs. And exhale to release. Good, now from here, wrap the arms around yourself like you're giving yourself a big hug, and then catch a hold of the back of the ribs. So the hands rest on the back of the ribs, and as you inhale, still expanding the belly and the ribs, but feel the back of the rib cage push towards the ground. So it's almost like going to squish your hands into the floor. So we inhale and exhale. Inhale to feel that expansion. And exhale. Good, then we bring the hands just onto the collarbone. So you can keep the hands crossed or just on each side. So just feel the collarbone. So as you inhale, expand the belly and the ribs into the back. And feel the collarbones rise towards the ceiling. So they're not rising towards the chin. Hopefully they're rising towards the ceiling. So we inhale, expand the belly, the ribs, the back, and the collarbones lift. And exhale to empty the lungs completely. Inhale, feel the expansion. And exhale to release completely. Release it. And then release the hands. And just 2 more breaths like that. So still breathing into the belly, the ribs, the back, and underneath the collarbones. And exhale to empty the lungs completely. Inhale to expand. And exhale to release. Good, then stay with that type of breathing. Stay full, slow breaths. Inhale, hug the right knee into the chest. And just for a moment, really squeeze the knee in. So it's kind of nice to wake up the hips. And then release the hands. And as you exhale, we just start to make little circles with that leg in the hip joint. So try to keep the pelvis neutral, so nothing changes through the pelvis. You're just getting a little bit bigger with your slow circles. So you're just getting a little bit of movement happening in that hip joint. So it doesn't matter how big they are, but start to go a little wider, a little bigger each one. And then just one more. we come back to center and we circle the other way. So just waking up through the hips. Get that little bit of a circle happening. Go a little larger, a little bit wider, but keep that left hip where it is. And circle. One more. Nice. Then we come back to center, hug that knee to the chest. And since we're here, we bring the right elbow inside that right knee, catch the pinky toe edge of the right foot, keep the left leg where it is, and we try to bring that right shin so it's almost straight up and down. The sole of the foot is essentially parallel to the ceiling, and from there we work on bringing that knee in towards the armpit. So it is a half happy baby. It's not the most elegant thing, but that's okay. It's just a waking up of the hips. Because it is one of the first things we're doing in our practice, it doesn't have to be your best version of it. Really try to keep that left leg long. It's going to want to sneak up a little. Really push through the left heel. And we just take 2 more of those full deep breaths. So still breathing into the belly, the ribs, the back, and the chest. And exhale completely. And one more. Good, then we inhale, release, hug that knee to the chest. And then exhale, reach that right knee across to the left. Excuse my microphone here. Right knee towards the left, reach the right arm out to the right, twist it out. So you're turning the gaze towards the right hand. And again, it is very early in the practice, so it doesn't have to be your best version of a twist. Just starting to wake up the body. And 3 more deep breaths here. 2. And last one here. Good, then we inhale, come back to center, hug the knee in once more, and then exhale to release it. Good, then we inhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Just hug it into the body, give it a squeeze, and then release the hands, and slowly start to circle that leg in the hip joint. So you can take the right hand to the right hip if you like. Make sure that stays steady. Really anchor that down. And slowly make the circles a little bigger and a little wider. So you're having to engage the core just a little to make sure that those hips aren't rolling around. And just 2 more in this direction. And last one. And then coming back to center, circle the other way. So again, you can start a bit smaller. Anchor the right hip. And then start to get a little larger, a little bigger, a little wider. So just really getting some fluid and some flow into the hip joint before we move on with the practice. Then one more. Coming back to center. Bring the left elbow inside that left knee. Bring the shin straight up and down. So if you can't still hold onto the foot, then grab the calf muscle or the thigh. Doesn't matter too much. And then just work that knee in towards the armpit. So the right leg stays out long. Push through the heel. And 4 more deep breaths here. The shoulders relax. 3. Trying to keep the upper body on the earth. And the breath flowing. 2 more. And last one. But then we inhale to bend that knee. Hug the knee into the chest. And exhale to twist it across. So you're reaching the left knee towards the ground. Left arm out to the left. Gaze follows the left hand. Deep breaths. 3. 2. And last one here. Good, then we inhale. Come back to center. Hug that knee into the chest. Bring the right knee in as well, so both knees in. And from there we roll up and down until you come all the way up to sitting. So even if it takes a few goes, don't panic about it. Good. So from there, take the feet just as wide as the mat, or a little bit wider than hip distance if you're not using a mat. And from here we bring the arms inside, lean in forward a little, bring the right arm underneath, so I'll do my left first so you can see. So the right arm comes underneath the right thigh, so you're kind of leaning in here. And we inhale to lift the left hand up and exhale to twist. So don't switch, stay where you are, but I'll just switch so you can kind of get an idea. So you're reaching up, find that twist, so it's like you're leveraging off that inner thigh to roll open through that shoulder. The gaze follows the top hand. So if you do have the range and you want to, you can wrap that right arm around and the left arm bind. So that is an option if it will work for your body. If not, don't panic, stay with the arms where they are. And you have just 2 more breaths where you are. So it's just a very gentle opening into the hips, but also just starting to get a little twist and the opening through the chest so that you're leveraging that arm. 1 more breath here. Good, then we inhale, bring that left arm in. Exhale to bring the left arm underneath the left thigh. Inhale, lift that right arm up. And exhale to find that twist. So you're looking towards that top hand. If you did so last side, you can bind and looking over the right shoulder. So whichever version works for you. We just take 3 more deep breaths. So try to lengthen through the spine. So we're trying not to curl in. Lift out of the hips, lift out of the chest. 2 more. And 1 more breath here. Then we inhale, gently release, good, and come back to center. Nice, now slowly bringing the feet in towards each other. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Keep them further away from the body. Slide the hands under and fold forward. So it is meant to be more about the outer hips again, so not so much inner thighs. Push the feet further forward so you can access those outer legs, outer hips. And deep full breaths here. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good, then we inhale, slowly roll up, slowly stack the spine. Good, and then hands behind you, just bring the feet in together once more. And step the feet, again, a little wider than your hips, or almost mat width apart. So this one, if you can, we come up and over, but if that's not going to happen, then you can come around, and however you get into it from there, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so if you do have cranky knees today, then unfortunately you get to work the quads a little bit, so you're kind of coming into a squat. If your knees are okay, then you're sinking hips towards the heels. If you find here that you can't get your heels on the ground, you have a couple of options. You can keep the hands on the ground just to keep the balance, or you can grab a cushion or a towel or roll up your mat a whole bunch, so you can roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, and put it underneath the heels just to help you get that little bit more balance. Because ideally we're going to bring the hands together in front of the heart, and the tailbone is sinking towards the ground and the chest is lifting. So we know the last class was all about the hips, so hopefully they're a little bit more open. This isn't going to be focusing on the hips completely, so we just breathe into this one. We just take 3 more breaths here. So if you can, the elbows are inside the knees and you're pressing the knees wide. So kind of like what you did in that twist before where you were leveraging against one leg, pushing the leg wide. Now you're pressing both legs wide. And we just take 1 more deep breath in here. And full breath out. Good. And from here we release the hands And then we slowly unwind the body, unwind the legs. So bring the feet back to hip distance apart. If you do have the mat or a cushion under your heels, you can let that go now. Just let the body hang. If you like, thumbs to the elbows, or just let the arms relax. And just a little sway side to side. Just take 3 breaths here. 2. And last one. And then releasing the hands, bend the knees, and slowly roll your way up to standing. Relaxing the shoulders. And from here, keep the feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to work into those arms a little. So we inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, turn the thumbs to the ground. So the palms face behind you. Bring the hands out in front, still thumbs to the ground. Right wrist on top of the left. Interlace the fingers. Then we bring the hands in towards the body. So it depends on your wrists, it depends on shoulders, elbows, all kinds of things. But we work on extending them out. So I have strange elbows and shoulders, so I can get a lot of range, so I can actually extend here. You may be back here, that's okay too, wherever it works. But so we just breathe there. So ideally you're kind of feeling it a little bit through the shoulders, but a little bit in that top forearm as well. That's kind of where I feel it. So if you've been doing a lot of computer work, hopefully this will help. You will probably find one wrist is going to be a little more tight than the other, and that's okay too. It's probably your dominant hand that you'll find is a little bit more challenging. We take one more deep breath in here, and a full breath out. But then we inhale, bring it back in, unwind it, release, take the arms wide. Good, so the thumbs are still to the ground, bring it back in. Now the left wrist on top, make sure you're switching it over. Bring the hands in towards the chest under and through and out if it works. So just extending out or working on the extension. Keep breathing. So remember that in through the nose, out through the nose. Breathing into the belly, the ribs, the back, and the chest. Keep the breath flowing. And take 3 more here. 2. Just allow what the difference is to be there. And 1 more. We're encouraging the balance, not trying to force. Good. Then we inhale. Come back in. Release it. And unwind. Relax. Shake it out. Good. So we just pull the mat back out. So if you did turn around, so make sure you've got that space behind you once more. So from here we inhale to lift up, reach the hands up, and exhale to fold forward. Hinging from the hips. Inhale, halfway. Good, and then exhale, step the left foot back, keep the left leg long. So we're keeping the hands on the ground here. We inhale, work on extending that front leg. Doesn't matter if it doesn't actually straighten or not, but that's where you're headed. So we inhale, bend into the front knee. So it's almost like you're going to run a race. And exhale, extend, pull those hips back. Good, so inhale, exhale, bend into the front knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend into that knee. 2 more, inhale, pull the hips back. Exhale. Good, and 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, bend into that knee. Good, so we're reaching the hands forward. So we're challenging this movement a little bit now. The hands reach forward. Inhale, shift the weight into the right leg. Lift the left toes towards the sky. So you're being a little bit active through that left leg. Now the challenge here is to not bend the leg. So when we bend the leg, the foot gets a little higher, and so we think we're going a little deeper, but we really want to try and keep that left leg straight and reach the toes towards the sky. If you are feeling super balanced, super steady today, you can take one hand onto the ankle, the right hand, and both if you're really challenging. If that's not going to work, keep both hands on the ground. It's totally fine. Because what we tend to do when we catch the ankle is we lose that top leg. We lose all concentration and effort there. Take 1 more deep breath in there. And a full breath out. Good, then we inhale, both hands on the ground if they're not already. Exhale, we're bending both knees so that top knee is coming down to the floor to the outside of that right heel. So we've got the right leg, then the left leg out to the right, coming down, so you're kind of sinking down onto that left hip. So what it looks like is the right foot is outside that left knee, and the left heel is outside the right hip. So hopefully your bottom is on the ground. If it doesn't work, if your knee's not happy about it, then you can come into a cross leg and kind of unwind it a little bit, or you can bring that foot out to the right side if that's not going to happen. So there's always adjustments you can make for your body. Remember, it doesn't have to look exactly like it does for me. And you need to really be able to honor what's happening with your body, because unfortunately I cannot see you and I can't just kind of tweak things for you. So you're really going to have to pay attention to what's going on in your body and tweak it for yourself. So we bring the right hand behind us, sitting up tall. So keep it in close to the body. The further out, the less chance you've got of sitting up tall. So we sit up tall, and that left hand, so you're either left hand onto the knee and twisting from there, or the left elbow hooks outside that knee. So it depends on how much rotation you have and your shoulders, whether you get the elbow or the arm, and it really doesn't matter, because this pose is more about drawing that leg across the body, so we try and get into the outside of that right hip a little bit, and the rotation of the spine. So that's what we're after, not about how fancy we're going with the arm. So it's up to you what works there. And we just take 2 more deep breaths here, lifting up through the crown of the head. And 1 more, looking over that right shoulder, making sure you're looking in the direction you want the body to go. Then we inhale, look back to the front. And exhale, it's just a gentle unwind of the body and coming back to center. Good. So for this one, again, options. So if your knees and hips are okay, we're just going to sneak that right foot across. You might want to roll forward a little, and it's almost like you're trying to stack one knee on top of the other, both heels outside the hips. So for some people, this is not going to work because of hips or knees or whatever's happening, and that's okay. So just come back to a cross legs or the legs out in front. Also, just make those adjustments as you need. If you're almost here, and it's more about, oh, my hips are really tight, then you can roll up your mat or a towel or a cushion and put that underneath your bottom so you can get a bit of height there. So that could also help. So these are all options. And from here, inhale, lift the right arm up, and exhale to bend that elbow. So you're either bringing the left hand onto the right elbow, or if the range is there, you're binding the hands behind you. So it's really getting into the hips a little bit, also opening up through those shoulders. And if anybody can see, this is actually called cow face pose. So if anybody can see where the cow face is in this, please feel free to message me, because I don't see it. But anyways, that's what it's called, and somebody saw it somewhere. We take 2 more deep breaths in here. Deep breaths here, sorry. And 1 more. So staying with it if you can. Good, then we inhale. Slowly release the hands, unwind them. Release them out in front or onto the feet. And the same even if you're in cross legs, whatever you've got happening with your hips. And exhale, we fold. Trick is to keep the bottom on the ground. So you're trying to not let that lift. So you can actually be strong through the hands and push the hips back even as the chest moves forward. And we take 4 more breaths here. Make them deep and slow breaths rather than just letting it kind of get short and shallow. 3, just 2 more. And last one. Good. Then we inhale to gently release, roll up, take the hands behind you, unwind the legs. You can shake them out, do what you need to do, just kind of shake that off. And then from there, Bring the feet out in front. So again, you can either go up and over or around and sideways, whatever works. So we come back through that little squat, hands out in front, and slowly unwind the legs. And I've just looked at my watch and realized that I've going to go crazy over, sorry. Then we inhale, roll up slowly, stack the spine, and exhale to relax the shoulders. Half an hour is a very quick time for yoga. So we inhale to lift the arms up. Whose idea was that? Exhale, fold it forward. Then we inhale halfway. Exhale, hands to the ground, step the right leg back. Good, keep the hands on the ground. Inhale, draw the hips back. Exhale, bend into that knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. So you have 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2, inhale. Doesn't matter if the front leg gets straight or not. Exhale. And 1 more, inhale. Good, and exhale, bend into that knee. Reach the hands forward. Inhale, shift the weight until that right leg can lift. Then be a little active with the right leg. Reach the toes high. 5 breaths here. So if you like, left hand to that left ankle. Both hands if you're feeling super fancy and balanced today. Just 4 more breaths. Either way, really reach with the right leg. Try not to get that bend. Extend out through the leg, reach it high. 3, 2. 1 more breath here, reach the toes, fold the body forward. Good. Then inhale, both hands back on the ground if they're not. Exhale, coming down, bring that right knee down behind the left ankle. So you're coming all the way to the floor, come down to sitting inside that heel. Yeah, so the heel outside the hip, plant that left foot. So again, adjust if you need to. Left hand is behind you, keep it in close. And then either wrap that arm or hook the elbow, sit up tall, and find that twist. So you're looking over the left shoulder. 4 more deep breaths here. 3, still gaze in the direction you want to go. Keep the length. 2, see if you can deepen the twist with each exhale. And 1 more here. Good, then we inhale, look back to the front. Exhale, gently unwind. Good, then coming back to center. And again, you're doing that stack, so you're either stacking the knees or whatever other variation adjustment you need to make. We lift the left hand up. Exhale, bend that elbow and either right hand onto that elbow or right arm around and bind. So whichever version you're doing. 4 more deep breaths. Try to keep sitting up tall but pull the ribs in. So it's not an arch, it's just a sitting up tall. 3 more breaths. There are plenty of back bend opportunities in most yoga, so we don't need to add them in or that flaring when we don't need them. 1 more deep breath in and full breath out. Then we inhale, gently release the hands, unwind, lift up, and exhale to fold it forward. So you're pressing back through the hips. So again, you can be active with the arms. Push the hips back. Chest moves forward. Deep, full breaths. I know that getting into the hips is super challenging. Just 3 more breaths here. 2. And last one. And inhale, walk the hands in. Release the hands behind you. Exhale to unwind those legs. Shake them out. Do what you need to do. Get the blood flowing again. And the legs come out long. Good, so from here we inhale, sit up tall. And exhale to roll down onto the mat. Good, and from here we inhale, bring those legs in. And since we've just been in that sort of pose, we actually bring the legs in. So you have, again, options. I'm a big fan of options. So you can either just keep the knees together and come into a regular version of that twist, or if you like, you can cross the right thigh on top of the left, tuck the right toes behind the left calf muscle. So we did this standing in a balance in the previous class. So it's the same with the legs, but this time we take the knees to the left, reach the right arm out to the right. So you're coming into a version of the twist, but just adding to it with those, with the legs. Looking back towards the right hand. So it doesn't matter if you do have knees just together, just some version of a twist. 2 more deep breaths here. And 1 more. Then we inhale to come back to center. And exhale, switch the legs over if you are in that bind, so left thigh on top. And then shifting, take the hips to the right, left arm out to the left. So just keep the knees together if you're in that version of the twist. Just 4 more breaths here, looking back towards your left hand. 3. 2. And last one. Good, then we inhale to come back to center. Unwind the legs if you're in the bind. Extend the legs out on the mat. Arms rest by the sides. Good, relax the shoulders. And so we are at the end of our practice. It goes so fast. So again, please do feel free to stay here for a moment, to let the body completely surrender into the earth. Come back into that breath awareness. Allow every muscle in the body to relax. Set an alarm if you need to, and allow yourself this time. So give the rest after the activity. And thank you so much for joining me for Yoga 3.